CorporalSaturn, I'm CorporalSaturn here, and I'm here to talk to you guys about Cyberdark Shaddolls. It's a deck profile, it's a fun deck, it's a neat deck, and I like it a lot. Without further ado, let's go and jump right into it. So, Cyberdarks are a weird archetype that are, like, they base off of siphoning their strength off of dragons, and your main deck, your Cyberdark core consists of 2 Keel, 2 Horn, and 2 Edge. The Horn, Keel, and Edge are the original Cyberdark engine, and they basically can equip themselves with a level 3 or lower dragon, which for a while was pretty much exclusively Hunter Dragon. But they can equip it with a dragon. That dragon offers them battle protection. They gain the attack points of the dragon they equip themselves with. And then, it's like your standard equip archetype. They equip themselves with something that equip protects them, blah, blah, blah. And then they each have their own unique effect. Keel does burn damage, Horn does piercing damage, and Edge can attack directly. Pardon me. Edge can attack directly for half of its attack. So, admittedly, they're not great on their own, and with the, and this new support that came out makes them better. Not tier 1, but definitely better. And you want to run each of the main core at 2. So, yeah. Next up is the newer support that was added to continue the Cyberdark core, where we have Cyberdark Cannon and Cyberdark Claw. Cannon has a neat effect. If it's sent to the graveyard while it's equipped to a monster, you can draw 1 card, which is neat, and then it has other effects, but you can only use each of those once per turn. So, you can discard this card and add a Cyberdark machine-type monster from your deck to your hand. So if you top deck this thing, you can discard it, add a Horn, Keel, or Edge, and then you get a free 2400 beater on your first turn. Pretty good. And then, if a monster equipped with this battles during the damage calculation, you can send a monster from your deck to the graveyard. That's why it synergizes so well with Shaddolls, because all of the Shaddoll monsters have an effect that activates when they're sent to the graveyard by a card effect. You could also send another Cyberdark. You could send Claw. Yeah, it's pretty nice. It's very nice, and it helps the deck with a lot of problems it's had in the past. Well, not so much this one, more so Claw, but like in terms of its secondary effect, the main deck dumping is you could use it to dump another Cyberdark for to summon their boss monster, I guess. But you primarily really use that on the Shaddolls. Anyway, run that at 3. Next up is Cyberdark Claw, which has an effect similar to Cannon, in that you can use this to search. If it's sent to the graveyard while equipped to a monster, you can target a Cyberdark monster in your graveyard and then add it to your hand. So yeah, and then its other effects are you can discard this card and search a Cyberdark spell or trap. There are no Cyberdark traps, but you can use this to search Cyberdark Impact and the field spell, which is nice. And then its other effect, which is fantastic, is that if the equipped monster battles, you can dump a monster from your extra deck. That means that you can dump Entis for its destruction effect. You can dump Quasar for its high attack, and then you equip it to the boss monster. And then you can send this to the graveyard to get a free Shooting Star. You could send Shooting Star. You could send Omega for its recycling effect. Possibilities are really good. You could also dump the Shaddolls, because you could also dump Winda, because if you've already summoned Winda, you could, yeah, you get it. That being able to dump from your extra deck makes that little part, if that right there makes the Cyberdark so much better. Not tier 1 or tier 0 or whatever, but definitely a lot better. And of course, you run that at 3. So that's their Cyberdark engine. That's your Cyberdark engine. Let's talk about your Shaddoll engine now. You run 2 of Shaddoll Beast. All the Shaddolls have a flip effect. So you can flip it, and then it has a sort of like Graceful Charity effect. You draw 2, discard 1, and if it's dumped, you can draw 1 card. Shaddoll Dragon, it has a kind of like a compulse effect type effect, where if it's flip summoned, you can target 1 card your opponent controls, return it to the hand, and if it's dumped, you can target 1 spell or trap card on the field and destroy it. Shaddoll Squamata has a destruction effect, or if it's flipped, you can target 1 monster on the field and destroy it. That's yours or your opponent's. Thought I'd mention that. And if it's dumped, you can dump something else aside from Squamata, so you can fill up your graveyard. This is Oh, so Shaddoll Dragon's not actually a dragon. But yeah, Shaddoll Squamata can dump other stuff aside from itself. Run that at 2. Next, you run 1 of Hedgehog. If it's slip summoned, you can add it searches a Shaddoll spell or trap. And if it's sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can add a Shaddoll monster from your deck to your hand. Except for Hedgehog, but you only run 1 of Hedgehog, so. And then Falco, because you can target it with it. You can special summon a Shaddoll monster from your graveyard in face down defense position. And if this card is dumped, you can special summon it in face down defense position. So yeah. All the Shaddolls have dumping effects, which is why they synergize well with the Cyberdark engine and themselves, obviously. So that's why you have this mini Shaddoll core, and you have Shaddolls in the extra deck. So that's all your monsters. Let's talk about spells and trap. Yes, 1 trap Shaddoll core because you need it to summon Shakinaga. It's also, you know, when it's sent to the graveyard by card effect, you can add a Shaddoll spell or trap card in your hand, except this one. So yeah. Let's talk about the field spell, which makes, admittedly, I wish was a little bit better. So it provides Cyberdarks with that are equipped with things with effect, destruction, protection, and then just general effect protection, which is neat, which is nice. The second effect, which I haven't used all that much, but I can see how it would be useful. You can target 1 Cyberdark monster you control, return it to the hand, and then immediately after this effect resolves, sorry, my throat's dry. Normal summon 1 Cyberdark monster. So what I imagine this is for is if you have a Cyberdark horn or whatever, these guys on the field equipped with 1 of these, bring it back to the hand, send these things get sent to the graveyard because they were sent to the graveyard while equipped to a monster. Their secondary effect triggers, their search effect or draw effect triggers. Admittedly, that's not that great because you have to minus to draw or search, which is not great. But you do get the normal summon again. But, I mean, so... Actually, yeah. So, that's actually pretty good. Because, yeah, if this thing gets sent to the graveyard, it just immediately comes back. So, I guess, yeah, that would be useful. Again, I haven't really done that much myself. But, yeah. And then if this thing... And then the last part of its effect, which bugs me. If this card you control is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can add a fusion spell card to your hand. Why it has to be destroyed by an opponent's card effect, I'm not sure. I really wish it was any card effect, because then you could pop it yourself for a free search. But again, you know, I could tell they are heading in the right direction with this. I don't know. Maybe we'll get a trap card that makes this a tiny bit better. I don't know. So I want to see some Cyberdark traps. Is my point. Next up, 2 terraforming because it's limited in OCG, but other than that, the field spell's not super important for playmaking. It is important, don't get me wrong, but not so important that you need to run 3 terraforming. You know, I know it's only 1, but, you know, if we had 3 terraforming, that would mean, you know, 1 less Shaddoll fusion, 1 less Allure of Darkness, which admittedly doesn't sound so bad, but, you know, you need draw power because you can kind of, expert players will see how, you know, you could potentially brick if you get really unlucky and you draw, oh, I don't know. Well, you know, I mean, I don't know. I mean, any deck can brick if you're not careful enough. So that's why this deck has a lot of draw power. So yeah, 2 terraforming, 3 Shaddoll fusion because of its dex fusing effect, and also you need it for Shaddolls. Cyberdark Impact because you can use it to summon the boss monster and it recycles your Cyberdarks. Overload fusion for your bigger boss monster and kind of your Shaddoll and kind of Winda, but not really. Actually, you don't want to use this on Winda, because if you do that, then you won't be able to summon your big bad boss monster. Elo Shaddoll Fusion, because it's like super poly for Shaddolls. 3 Allure of Darkness for draw power. Raigeki, because it's Raigeki. Upstart Goblin, and 1 Day of Peace for draw power. Foolish Burial for dumping. Soul Charge, because a good chunk of your extra deck monsters are summonable, and because, you know, if you need Soul Charge can save your ass if you need it to. And Shaddoll Core, which we kind of already talked about. Like Shaddolls, it has a dump search. And we also need it to summon Shakinaga. Alright, so that's the main deck. You can, you know, the synergy is very good. There's a lot of synergy. It all works. They're all very, you know, things and doohickeys and whatnot. So yeah, let's talk about the extra deck. You run the original Cyberdark Dragon because it can benefit from dragons, and the graveyard effect is nice, and the protection is nice. And, you know, you can also use it to summon this guy. this guy's not great. You know, the graveyard attack bonus is nice, but it's not great. Again, but you can also use him to summon this guy, Cyberdarkness Dragon. 5 Cyberdark effect monsters. Oh, and the other annoying thing is it has to be fusion summoned, which is annoying, like most GX era fusion monsters. But this guy's great because he's summonable with Soul Charge, as it must first be fusion summoned. When it's special summoned, you can equip 1 dragon or machine type monster, so you could in theory equip it with this. From your graveyard, and then this card gains that card's attack. When your opponent activates a card or a card effect, you can send 1 equipped card you control to the graveyard and negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. So that's not just from this. So let's say you have one of these and you have a couple horns, keels, whatever on the field, and they're equipped with stuff. You could 100% dump those cards before you dump the Quasar that this thing could be equipped with. Although if it's equipped with Quasar, you're probably going to be attacking for game at that point. But yeah. You could also equip this thing with Quasar, use its effect, dump Quasar, and then get a free shooting star. Like, that's very, very good. Again, it's also summonable with Soul Charge, so that's good. You can use Winda for helping to slow down your opponent's plays. It's also a Shaddoll dark monster that you can use to summon itself, and also Shakinaga. See, you can't be destroyed by card effects. Yeah, it slows down, like I already mentioned. And when it's sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 Shaddoll spell trap card in your graveyard and add it to your hand. Shakinaga must first be fusion summoned, so it is. This thing is basically kind of like a Solemn. If a special summon monster activates its effect, you can send a Shaddoll card from your hand to the graveyard to negate it. And if it's sent to the graveyard, you can search. Entis has a great dumping effect because while we can't fusion summon her, if she's sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 card on the field and destroy it. Quasar Dragon, because if you equip Quasar Dragon to a card, and then it comes back to the field, and then it leaves the field again, you can summon Shooting Star. Shooting Star is good because, it's a 3300 beater. We can't summon it. I don't think we can summon this thing either. This thing's level 12. Requires 1 tuner synchro, 1 or more. Yeah, we can't summon this thing. So you really only use it for equip and to bring out Shooting Star. Cyframe Omega, like I already talked about, if you send this thing to the graveyard, you can shuffle itself and another card in your graveyard back. So if let's say you do summon Winda with Overload Fusion, you could shuffle itself and Omega back, and you can recycling. That's what that's called. The recycling effect is very nice, and yeah, and then Trishula, because you can summon this, and when it's synchro summoned, it has a nice banishing effect. So. Plus, it's also a semi-decent dragon beater for, dragon fodder, rather, for your Cyberdarks. And yeah, that's the Cyberdark Shaddoll engine. I can see that this is probably still going to be pretty useful in Link format because you really only need 1 extra deck monster on the field at a time. And of course, you could probably also drop Winda to 2. Maybe get rid of Trishula. And maybe the original Cyberdark Dragon in favor of some other Links. I don't know. That's really up to you. But yeah, I've kind of given my 2 cents. I played with this deck, and it's a lot of fun. I really like playing with it. And yeah, so with all that being said, actually, before I do say that, the reason I want to talk about Cyberdarks is because Cyberdarks have always had a special place in my heart. When I saw them in the anime, I thought they were really cool. I tried building a Cyberdark hybrid deck like Zane did. Just did not work. I know, there was like a card he had called Card Guard or something, which you used to dump his entire deck to mitigate damage, which of course made this thing stronger. But, then the actual cards come out and they're underwhelming. They actually, just don't synergize with regular Cyber Dragons, so I had to take them out. And then I saw that they were getting support, which made me excited, so I found this build and I modified it a tiny bit. And yeah. So with all that being said, I think I'm going to go now. Thank you all so much for watching. It's going to end today's mission. Your next mission, should you choose to accept it, is leave a like and a comment on this video. And the last thing I want to do before I go is show you guys my current Cyber Dragon build, because a lot of people have been assholes in the comment section. This is the new build. Okay? I've got some kaijus in here now. I've cut a lot of the crap cards, and this is my okay. But yeah, I just wanted to show that to get y'all to shut up. And yeah, but with all that being said, I think I am gonna go. Peace.